The role of a manager has completely, and I mean completely, transformed. What worked even a decade ago, it can fail spectacularly today. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on what it really means to be a great manager right now. Okay, so picture this. You just got the promotion. You've climbed that ladder. You've earned the title. You walk into your new office feeling great, ready to lead. But then this little question pops into your head. What do I actually do now? And if that question sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. This quote, it comes from a real, newly promoted manager, and it just perfectly captures that sinking feeling of uncertainty. It's wild how the confidence that got you the job can just, poof, vanish. There's actually a name for this. It's called the promotion paradox, and it's this fundamental problem where the skills that made you an amazing individual worker are not the same skills you need to be an amazing manager. So how did we even get here? Well, to really get a handle on the modern manager, we've got to look back at the classic playbook, the foundational ideas that defined this role for generations. The textbook definition says management is a process. Basically, it's a structured way of taking resources, people, money, time, and integrating them with tasks to hit specific goals. It's kind of like the engine that makes the whole organization run. Now, that definition is fine, but it's, a little abstract, right? What does being part of that process actually look like on a random Tuesday afternoon? What are you really doing all day? Well, a researcher named Henry Mintzberg actually did the work for us. He broke it all down into 10 specific roles, sorted into 3 big categories. You've got your interpersonal roles, which are all about people and relationships. Then there's informational work, that's all about communication. And finally, decisional work, which is exactly what it sounds like, making the tough calls, from setting budgets to handling a crisis. And to pull off all those different roles, you need a toolkit of skills. 5 of them, to be exact. You need technical skills to know the work, human skills to lead the people, design and conceptual skills to see the big picture, and analytical skills to make sense of the data. But here's the thing. A manager's job isn't one size fits all. The role shifts, pretty dramatically actually, depending on your altitude in the organization. Think about it. At the very top, you've got your C-suite execs. They're focused on the whole organization, setting the 5-year strategy. In the middle, you have managers, whose job is to translate that strategy into action plans. And down at the lower level, you have frontline managers, focused on the day-to-day, making sure the team hits its targets. Okay, and this is where we get to the heart of it. Because that whole classic model, all those roles and skills we just talked about, while they're a good foundation, they're just not enough anymore. The world changed, and the manager's playbook had no choice but to change with it. I mean, look at this shift. It is fundamental. We've moved away from the manager as a director, someone just supervising tasks from the top down. The new playbook is all about the manager as a coach and a partner, someone who is focused on developing people through real engagement. So, why the huge change? What happened? Well, the entire economy shifted under our feet. We don't just make things anymore. We work with knowledge. And today's employees are specialists. They're experts. You can't just direct them. The old rules are out. It's a whole new game. So the modern manager has to be way more flexible. You can think of it as wearing 4 different hats. Sometimes you're an investor, placing smart bets with your team's resources. Sometimes you're a customer, serving the needs of your people. You're also a coach, developing talent, and a partner, collaborating with your team as fellow experts. And wearing those hats means your day-to-day actions look totally different. It's way less about supervising and so much more about empowering. It's about delegating with real confidence, actively creating future leaders, and building a culture where thinking outside the box isn't just allowed, it's encouraged. All right, so let's put all the pieces together. We've seen the old way. We've seen the new demands. What does it actually take to become a great manager in this landscape? And listen, the stakes here are incredibly high. This isn't just some soft skill we're talking about. This is a bottom line issue. You've heard the saying, and it's true for a reason. People don't leave companies, they leave managers. A great manager is your #1 tool for keeping great people. So, what's on the checklist for a great modern manager? Well, it's this really fascinating mix of skills. Yeah, they have to know the business and communicate a vision, but they also have to show real empathy, handle conflict with grace, and stay balanced under pressure. It's that blend of business smarts and emotional intelligence that really makes someone great. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one final question. The old role was simple: direct the work. But the new role is to build leaders. So the real challenge for every manager out there, including you, is to decide, which role are you gonna play?